If you told me last year that my best friend's silly matchmaking idea would lead to me standing on a stage in front of thousands of people, I would have laughed in your face. But that's exactly what happened. And it all started with a text I almost ignored. It was a cold, windy Friday in Chicago. The kind of day where you wrap yourself in a scarf and hope the L train doesn't run late. I was staring at my laptop, trying to make progress on a grant proposal for the local community center where I worked. We'd been struggling for months. Programs were on the verge of shutting down, funding was drying up, and my boss, Mrs. Martinez, had been dropping hints that layoffs were coming if things didn't turn around. My phone buzzed. It was Amanda, my best friend since freshman year of college. We'd been through everything together: cross-country road trips, job changes, and even that one time we both got locked in the basement of an antique bookstore for 4 hours. "Hey," her text read. "Got someone I want you to meet. You're perfect for each other." I rolled my eyes. This wasn't new. Amanda loved matchmaking, and her success rate was abysmal. Not because the people she introduced me to were bad, they were fine, but because I wasn't looking for anything romantic. My life was stressful enough without trying to impress someone new over overpriced coffee. "Not interested." I typed back. Her reply came instantly. "It's not a date. Just trust me." Saturday, 11 a.m. Cafe Astoria. The next morning, I almost didn't go. I had paperwork to finish, laundry to fold, and honestly, the idea of sitting through awkward small talk with a stranger was not appealing. But Amanda was persistent. She sent me 3 reminders before 10 a.m., each one more dramatic than the last. "If you don't go, you'll regret it forever. Trust the process. Please, for the love of all things caffeinated, just show up." So I went. Cafe Astoria was buzzing with weekend energy. Baristas shouted orders over the hiss of steaming milk. Indie music played from speakers, and the smell of fresh pastries made me instantly hungry. I spotted Amanda at a corner table. And next to her was not a single person, but 3. Surprise! Amanda grinned. "It's a networking breakfast." I blinked. "A what?" Turns out, Amanda hadn't been trying to set me up romantically at all. She'd invited me to meet Ethan, a nonprofit consultant, Carla, a community organizer from Milwaukee, and Derek, a former journalist who'd recently started a podcast highlighting grassroots projects. "Thought you might have some things in common," Amanda said, sipping her latte like she'd just solved world hunger. At first, I was skeptical. But as we talked, something clicked. Ethan mentioned he specialized in helping small organizations write winning grant proposals, exactly what I needed. Carla knew of 2 potential donors interested in funding youth programs. And Derek? He offered to feature our center on his podcast. What was supposed to be an awkward coffee meetup turned into a 2-hour brainstorming session. By Monday, Ethan had sent me a completely revamped version of my grant application. One that made ours look like it was written by professionals instead of a sleep-deprived staff. Carla emailed an introduction to one of her donor contacts. Derek scheduled an interview for the following week. Things started moving fast. Within a month, we had not 1 but 3 funding offers on the table. It was more money than our center had seen in years. Mrs. Martinez cried in her office when she read the emails. But that wasn't the something huge. That came later. About 6 weeks after Amanda's breakfast setup, I got an email from the National Community Impact Conference. Apparently, Derek's podcast episode about our work had gone viral in nonprofit circles. They wanted me to give a keynote speech about revitalizing community programs on a shoestring budget. Me, the person who hated public speaking so much I once pretended to lose my voice to avoid giving a wedding toast. I almost said no. But Amanda wouldn't hear it. "You have to do this," she insisted. "Think of what it could do for the center. And for you." The night before the speech, I barely slept. I kept pacing my small apartment, rehearsing lines, rewriting paragraphs, and drinking way too much chamomile tea. The next morning, I stood backstage at the Chicago Convention Center, listening to the muffled chatter of hundreds, maybe thousands, of people. My hands were shaking so badly, I had to keep them clasped together. When the announcer called my name, something strange happened. The fear didn't vanish, but it shifted. I remembered every face from the community center. The kids in our after-school program, the parents who relied on our food pantry, the volunteers who gave up weekends to help us. I realized this wasn't about me at all. I walked out, took a deep breath, and began. I told them about the struggles. The nights we didn't know if the lights would stay on. The months when we had to choose between buying art supplies or fixing the leaky roof. I told them about the breakfast meeting Amanda had orchestrated, and how 3 strangers had stepped in to change everything. By the time I finished, the entire room was on its feet. The next day, my inbox was flooded. Speaking invitations, collaboration offers, even a message from a documentary filmmaker who wanted to feature the center in a short film. And here's the wild part. All of this, every single opportunity, can be traced back to that one text from Amanda. Not a romantic setup. Not even a friendship in the traditional sense. Just a moment where someone decided to connect people. And it changed the course of my life. So if there's anything I've learned, it's this. Never underestimate the power of showing up.